I did.
When you were a kid, did you ever hear about how some of the indigenous people that lived in the jungles caught monkeys? They would bore a hole in a tree, a little hole in the tree, and then there would be a pocket behind it, and they'd put some candy or gum or something shiny behind it, and the little monkey would reach in there, his hand would go through the hole, but then when he grasped it and made a fist of it, he couldn't get out. And the indigenous people would come by and just grab the monkeys. They would never let go, to their very death. And Alcoholics Fanatics are very much like monkeys. Sorry about that, but we are. And as Cheryl was praying that we would be able to receive God's love, God wants more for us than to be caught by something we can't let go of. He wants us to be caught up in love, right? Whisked away out of our situation, out of our turmoil, out of our fears, out of our anger, out of our hurts, out of our struggles. And he wants us to have life and have it abundantly. That's John 10:10. Jesus came so that we could have life and have it abundantly. This is what we did with our thinking and what we did with our wounds and what we did with our rebellion and desires and brokenness and thoughts and struggle was run the opposite way from that. And when our life got so unabundant full, we started to look around maybe for an answer. And I don't know if you fluctuated for a few years like I did, but I would try to do the right thing for a while and then fall on my face, and then I'd get the who cares, and then I'd drink again. And every time I drank, it got worse, and I would still use it to try to make myself feel better. That's amazing, isn't it? And so whatever it is that we're hanging on to and we can't let go of, that God didn't give us, because he gives us things to hang on to, doesn't he? We are a vessel. We're supposed to capture the things that God gives us and use them to honor him and to lift him up and to walk around and be an icon, so that when people look at us, go, what happened to you? And we could say, God. And that happened to me at Boeing. I was about probably 4 or 5 years sober, and I'd worked with this guy who later became a manager. And when I worked with him, I was not in the program. And I thought I knew everything. Anyway, I tried to help him, and he didn't want anything that I had to say. So I just backed away from him. And he picked up a resentment, and so did I, of course. Everybody I worked with had a resentment against me. And everybody I worked with, I had a resentment against. That's what happens when you're trying to do things without God. And later, when the union decided that they needed one more grunt in his area, they asked me if I was interested in the job. And I was working on the swing shift at the time, and I had 4 teenagers at home. And I said, boy, oh boy, I've been looking for a day shift job. The story leading up to that is too long. I can't even tell it. But he found out they were going to push me into his department. He was the manager of it now. And he went, oh no, not Getchus, not Getchus. And they said, well, either that or, if you want, when he gets in here, you can just write him up until you can fire him or make him move. And so that's what he was looking to do. And after about 2 weeks in his department, he walked up and stood beside me, and he says, you got a minute, Dave? And I said, yeah. He goes, I want to see you in my office. I'm going, I haven't done anything wrong. And I was full of God. I was just so excited about being on days. I was fixing everything I could see, and I was hurrying all the time and very helpful. And then I'm thinking, what did I do? What did I do? And I walked in his room, and he said, you want to sit down? And I said, no, what's going on? And he said, I just want to know what the hell happened. And there was such a change. And that was just after 4 years, or 5 or whatever. So God wants to have that in everyone. He wants us to delight in who he's made us to be and enjoy ourselves as much as he enjoys us. He wants us to enjoy life. And if we don't, then we've got our eyes in wrong. And he wants to help us with that. So one of the ways in the program and in the Bible that you begin to look for the things that God might want to fix is, where are you struggling? Where are we struggling? Do I have a short temper? Do I have a short fuse? Do I flip people off when I'm driving? Do I still steal a little from the till when nobody's looking? I mean, what's going on? Where is it that we aren't walking in trust? Where is it that we aren't walking in faith? And where is it that we don't feel love? Where is it that I've shut myself off? What have I just said or done or wished I could say and do that brought me to a place where I didn't hear God's voice and I'm looking at my feet instead of at God? We were at School and Prayer. Was that just last night? Oh my gosh. Jody Mayhew did a great teaching, and she talked for about 45 minutes, all the different things that are going wrong in society, and then she started telling us how to fix it, and it was every single thing on that page was go to God. Get this relationship right, and these will fall into place. Now, you don't have control over other people, but when you have this right, you can see stuff in other people, and you can help them come to the end of themselves by offering what God's given you. But if we don't have this relationship right first, these are never going to really get better. We just manipulate and avoid and pretend and, hi, how are you doing? Oh, great, fine, I'm fine. And when I'm not, get away from me. I mean, golly, I was a mess when I came in. So one of the first bad examples of letting go that I had was the Pharisees. They were taught for decades and decades and decades that a Messiah was coming. And when he came, he didn't meet their expectations. I don't know what they thought. Did they think he was going to materialize with a blue cape? Did they think he was going to run down out of the clouds on a big white horse? Did they expect a sword in his teeth? Did they have something confused? Because when he started healing people, a couple of them looked at him and went, oh, I think that might be the Messiah. And the rest of them went, our whole religion will be torn to shreds. We got to kill that guy. And we do the same thing. We're just like that. When we don't understand something, we don't go, gosh, God, what is it you're trying to teach me? We go, look out, right? Protect ourselves, defend ourselves, build another wall, put more money in the bank, build a bigger body. We do all sorts of things to try to get what we think we need, when what we really need is a relationship with God who says, I'm going to handle everything from now on, Dave. Jump on the bus and enjoy the ride. And I'm going, the bus is a little bit too bright for me. What will my neighbors think? Oh my gosh, what was I full of when I came in here? Excuses, resentment, fear, self-centeredness, rebellion, anger, hurt, doubt. What am I still hanging on to? So if you closed your eyes and you were going to shout out one word, what are we still hanging on to? What would it be? Anybody? Let's pretend it's your neighbor.
Fear.
Oh.
Jesus.
A resentment.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Codependency. Whew. That'll give you a resentment just saying it.
Fear.
Fear. Anybody got any struggles with shame?
Oh, yes.
Does it talk to you? Do you still listen to it? Why? Okay. You gotta why are we hanging on to that? Because it's true? There's a little bit of truth? Anyway.
Sneaks in there.
Say it again.
Sneaks
Shame
in.
sneaks in there, but you gotta tell them, you're not going there.
Actually, we step on it like dog poop, and then we track it all over our life. We track it all over the place. I just got new carpet.
It's up for a while,
How about guilt?
Yeah.
Man, that takes me out of God's presence like that. And then I'm going, dude, okay. And because I've done this 5,000 times, I feel like he's really going to forgive me again? I got to punish myself. I'm hanging on to self-punishment sometimes.
Control.
Control of what? People?
People.
Finances?
Things, happenings.
Yep. It's based mostly in fear.
Yeah, it's all fear.
But boy, we can get stuck in that a
I
lot.
could spend days doing it.
I do it when I'm in traffic. I'm trying to control you if you're driving in front of me. If I was driving in front of me, I'd be controlling myself, right? I I'm the only one I don't judge because I have never had to follow myself in traffic. Okay, now some people are laughing and a couple are not. This is supposed to be lighthearted. We are supposed to be able to say, you know what? God's going to take care of everything I get written down. I found he wants to take every list that I've ever written, and boy, if you've been in recovery for 33 years and you've had a sponsor most of those years, you have written some lists. List your fears, list your resentment, list your sexual harms, list all sorts of things. Now go make amends, make a list of the people that you owe an amends to, make a list on your 8th step, make a list, make a list, make a list. Character defects in the 7th step, you are making lists, and Jesus wants to take all those lists and wipe them off the side and just fill you with the parts of himself that you were supposed to carry in the first place. All these lists that we're writing down are not so that we can make ourselves a better human. They are so that we can see our need for God and say, will you please? And he say, I've been dying for you to ask. Now, will you let me really do the work? Or are you hanging on to something that keeps you hanging on to that one? And I hung on to shame for 20 years because I couldn't see that it would be better if I let go of it. I was trying to use it to make a better version of David. So sometimes there's something, a lie underneath the struggle that's keeping you hanging on to it. My whole family's been stubborn. It's actually kind of a good thing. We get a lot of work done. Or every time I get a boyfriend, I have to protect myself, and so why wouldn't I be angry? Or there's a million other reasons, right? And God wants to soften your heart so that you can see that you don't need that either. He will provide everything you need to let go of, everything he wants you to let go of, so that you can live this life of abundance. And it doesn't have to wait till we get to heaven. This isn't a place where we just struggle and struggle and struggle with one thing after another, with some moments of worship and some moments of winning the lottery and then some moments of giving it all to our relatives and realizing I'm just a pathetic, codependent mess. He wants us to live from moment to moment where the Holy Spirit says things to us and we walk over and give somebody a $5 bill and they go, oh my gosh, that's exactly how much more money I needed to make rent this month. How did you know? To go to one miracle to the next, to the next, to the next, where you fill up the people around you with God and then they begin to act like him and follow him and fall in love with him too. And the world has forgotten how to do that. We are so self-centered. Most of the time we're judging other people instead of trying to figure out how we could love them. And that's because we're doing it with this instead of letting him do it with this, isn't it? So how do we get here? My friend and mentor, everybody's friend and mentor if you've met him, Calvin, says 99.7% of what's wrong with people is unforgiveness. So here we are, knowing that's true, hanging on to something. We put it behind our back because I don't know if mine's going to be appropriate. I don't know what you got behind your back, but don't tell me what it is because mine might be worse. But we hide them, don't we? Most of America hiding a whole bunch of stuff behind their back. You know the 423, you know what that is? It's a group of mostly men that they're trying to get some groups to stop pornography and help you if you want to stop pornography. And they've been putting, you haven't been to a urinal lately, you wouldn't know this, but right on front of the urinal is a little slot envelope where there's a little card there, 423 with the phone number. 1,000 of those they've given out here. 2 people called. What do you got behind your back, Dave? What do you got behind your back? Does it matter what it is? What if it's alcohol? Everybody in the room would go, whoo, you're in the right place. And if you're standing with 16 guys and 14 of them have a problem with porn and you had a problem with porn and you're hiding it and you don't come clean, you don't find God. Calvin also says that healing happens in community. And boy, isn't he right? Did you try to tackle alcoholism and drug abuse and all the other things at home alone for a while, like me? Did you try to make it, I'll just drink beer. I'll just drink on Friday nights. I'll just have 2. I'll just, oh my gosh. And then you get pulled over by the cops. How many do you have? How do I get here? Of course, that's the only answer. Because he smells it, or he wouldn't have asked. And you're funny looking, your one eye's rolled back in your head, you know, and your pocket's out and your belt's unclasped. And oh my gosh. Back in the days when we couldn't come clean. Alcoholism eats the people that have something hidden behind their back. It eats them for breakfast, it eats them for lunch, and it eats them for dinner. And you've been eaten for so long that you think you deserve to be eaten. And God wants to set you free, and you can't see yourself that way for a while. So you get a sponsor that says, I see good in you. And you go, what? Or maybe you're on the other end where pride is the problem. And man, I'm better than my sponsor. He needs to go to some classes. I'm fine. But whatever extreme it is, when we can't just say, I'm here because you made me. I want to be your son. I don't know what that means yet, but I'm looking forward to that kind of surrender. How do I get there? Can you show me? That's what we were supposed to do. Our dad was supposed to take us by the hand and introduce us to God when we were just little kids and say, wow, you are so great. I can't wait to introduce you to God. And then you get to watch God's face light up, and it changes everything. But by the time you meet God in these circles, you got $400,000 worth of baggage and 15 bad relationships and a couple crazy kids and a smashed car and broken bones. And how many broken bones we got in the room? I'd like 13. Anybody else? That was me trying to kill myself, and I couldn't get the job done. Get a faster motorcycle and drink. Great idea. So whatever you're packing, we get together in groups and we talk about our struggles. And when you hear somebody else talk about the struggle that's bothering you the most, you think, this is true? Will God really take this? How much is it going to cost? Am I ready for this? Sometimes we don't even know what it is, right? It's hidden. It's blind. Everybody in our family had it, and I can't see it either. When I did my first fears list, I was 2 years sober, and and I did my first fears list, got my first real sponsor and got my first steps going on, and I wrote down some fears, made some up because I did not think I was afraid of anything. I thought I was bulletproof. And the second time I'm going through the fears list about a year later, not quite, that codependency was everywhere. I saw it in myself. I started reading this book about it, and I was afraid of women. I was afraid of little kids. I was afraid of police. I was afraid of the IRS. I was afraid of what the doctor was going to tell me the next time I went and had a blood test. I was afraid, oh my gosh, like 60 something from none in a year. I had to go through that process. I had to have God open my eyes and open my ears and open my heart so that I could say, I do need healing. But there was something so strong in me when I was a kid that I was not going to ask for help, ever. I was trying to die rather than ask for help. And you don't have to do that anymore. We're in a place where it's safe to be real, safe to be honest, safe to be vulnerable, safe to be open-minded, and allow God to come and tell you who you are. Because that's where the problem lies. We're running around trying to make the world cause us to feel accepted, cause us to feel good enough, cause us to feel wanted and desired. The world doesn't do that. It's busy running away from God too. The only place where people are running towards God are places like this, and we're limping. We're not doing the full-on race where we're doing the 440 in 8 seconds. This is a place where we're coming in here going, well, I got nothing better to do tonight. I know I better go. My sponsor's going to ask, and it's better than it was. Better than it was. But boy, you got a long way to go. I realized today, I was talking to my mentor on the phone. I realized today, let's see if I can even find it, that I'm still hanging on to something. Can't even find it. I got 4 pages of notes, and I didn't have time to tell. Oh, okay. They were praying in the middle of this hour-long Zoom meeting. Just my mentor, Calvin, who's starting to do really well now, in case you're wondering, and another guy. And I realized as they were praying, God showed me that when I was a little kid, when I was bad, and I knew I was being bad, I was the third one, and I would try to get attention. If I couldn't get it positive, I'd just slide over to the negative side. You always get attention pretty quickly when you slide over to the negative side. The wooden spoon was right there handy. And I'd been knocked around a little bit by my mom with the wooden spoon, and then she realized that I was crying pretend, and so then she got a belt. And when I got so big that I was crying pretend that she had the belt, then she'd wait till Dad come home and have Dad come in, and she would henpeck him until he went in and spanked me. And by the time he came in to spank me, he was mad. Well, I only did that once. After that, I'm trying to manipulate and make sure Mom spanked me instead, because Dad was mad, and it wasn't fun. But I realized that what I was doing when I got into recovery was I needed punishment. I had been bad, and I needed punishment, or I wasn't going to get back in that graces. After I'd got a good spanking, I straightened up, right? I straightened up, and I would fly straight for a while. And then I started to respond to life, and life responded to me. The people around me responded to me differently than when I was acting out. I did the same thing with God. I needed him to punish me. And if he didn't do it, I was going to do it. And that's what shame was doing. I held on to that thing for 20 years. I was punishing myself because God wouldn't. He has grace. And the punishment he gave to his son. And he took it all. And so when I try to punish myself or try to be good enough in a way that isn't God's way, I've lost my train of thought completely.
When you try to punish yourself?
Yeah, but I would have had a specific story I was going to tell. God maybe asked me not to say it. So if we were to make a list of the things that we might be carrying so that when we get in a group, we can actually talk about them. You got any others? I had a fear of letting go. What would happen if I let go of this thing? I also had a fear of vulnerability. I thought if I would look weak, and I did, right? Felt a little weak, looked a little weak. Pride kept me trying to better myself alone. I'm in the program trying to make myself, with no help, be better. And to a certain extent, you can do that. But you've heard the pressure cooker thing, right? Pops its lid. You put a little bit more and a little bit more and turn it the heat a little bit more, a little bit more, and pretty soon, boom! My mom had that happen. And she was doing green beans she was just gonna blanch them supposedly or something, she thought, and she left the room and forgot. And that thing unloaded every green bean in that pot out through that tiny little vent hole in the top of the pot. And she said it was just a mess, green beans everywhere. And dude, isn't that what happens to us? I didn't mean to hurt you. Always going back and saying, I'm sorry. Why? Because we're not being vulnerable. We need a place to get real. We need a place where we can be loved, even if we're full of junk.
Can I say something?
Certainly.
That just prompted the craziest thought, because I'm like, thinking I didn't hurt anybody, then I'm like, oh, maybe I should think that way about how I'm letting people hurt me.
Yeah. So, as God speaks, as you allow him to speak into your life, as you allow him to speak through different authorities. Did you know you have authorities? Some people that you would trust, and some people that you wouldn't listen. If they were trying to give you $1 million, you wouldn't let them. But we need to get God into that place of authority. And how do we do that? Try harder, right? Sit up straighter, get a better shirt. Wait, those things don't work. How about if we asked him? What if we asked him for the miracle he'd been dying to give you? And then said yes when he started to do it. So you need to talk about that. Because if you're going to change, he's going to do it. And if he's going to do it, you have to let him. And if you're going to let him, you have to have some humility, and you have to have some vulnerability, and you have to have some yes in you. And it has to be active. And you have to restart over and over and over and over, and that's okay. That's what we are, right? Start over and over and over. That's what grace is all about. Come to me. He doesn't say come to me 900 times. He said forgive 70 times 7, but he's never said how many times he would forgive me. When he went to the cross, he went for the sins that are past, he went for the sins that are present, and he went for the sins that are ahead of us. And if I punish myself, all I get is that I don't get forgiveness. So I'm trading forgiveness for punishment. Makes no sense, but I've been doing it for years. So you have some stuff like that. It doesn't make sense, but you've been doing it for years, so better keep it up, right? I always wash my car with the wheels off. What? What are you doing taking the wheels off your car? I'm gonna wash it. What? It's just stupid, but here you are doing it. So there's some things just that silly that you've got labeled wrong. And that's okay. We go to a meeting and you get a sponsor and he says, don't worry about that. And you think, what? I gotta worry about that. I've had that resentment for 20 years. That guy deserves me to have a resentment. Well, let's get and pray about that. And then we have to ask God. Again, anytime we get stuck, we don't just hang on and hide it behind our back. That doesn't work. It never has worked and it never will work. It just keeps you from having a good time. You can only wave one hand. Have you ever tried to play tennis with two things hidden behind your back? You use your face on the ball. I mean, like what? It's that stupid, but we do it all the time. He wants to set you free. Why not give it to him as a birthday gift? When was God born anyway? So we can delight him without having to go very far. He wants you. He wants you. Let him have you. Hang around the people that are moving on this road together and become a student and watch and listen and ask God all the time, what are you trying to show me? What do I need to do here? What's going on? Ask him open-ended questions. Let him begin to speak into your life. It's a father-daughter thing, baby. It's a father-daughter and a father-son thing. He wants to make up for all the other fathers that you wished you'd had. He wants to make up for all the places where you fell on your face and you didn't have anybody to lift you up and hold you closely and tell you it was going to be okay, because he's in love with you dearly and he's got a plan that'll knock your socks off. And I'm done. Thanks for listening.